YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Knee replacement series. We are discussing today knee replacement surgery day. So here we are, it is surgery day. My experience on this day was, well, of course, I got up way early. My surgery was scheduled for 10 o'clock. I had to be at the hospital for 8 a.m. I was up at about 5 a.m. because I had to do that morning bath. So you have that antiseptic shower that you got to take the night before, and then you got to do it in the morning again before going to the hospital. So for me, it was, getting up, doing that, putting my last little bits and bobs into my suitcase, my toothbrush or whatever after using it, and little things, deodorant, what have you. Um, it was an overwhelming day for me. I remember just sitting at the side of my bed and just thinking, wow, it's here. I don't do well with hospitals. I haven't really been in the hospital very much. I mean, I've had knee surgery before, but it was like a day. It was a day. I did double knee scopes, and they did it in a day. In the morning, and I was out by the evening and home. So, this was a little different. I knew this was major surgery, and I'm still a single mom, and I'm thinking about, although my kids are older now, or a little bit bigger now. I wouldn't say older because 22 and 17 at the time, I'm still, responsible for them. And so you have thoughts. For me, it was thoughts about them, and hoping everything would go okay, because I don't do really well in surgeries, just based on the couple surgeries that I have had. They're not weren't huge complications, but they were complications nonetheless. When I did my double knee scope, I had to stay in that recovery a lot longer than what I should have been. Like I said, I went in the morning and I left in the evening. I should have been able to leave earlier in the evening, but I had to stay later because during surgery my blood pressure dropped. I had excessive bleeding during surgery, which was probably the reason for the low blood pressure and other things. And they literally had to, life-saving measures to bring my blood pressure up during surgery. And so in recovery, I was there a bit longer because, it took a while for my blood pressure to come back up to normal. So, you sit and you think about these things, and you know that, yeah, with any surgery, there's a risk. There's a risk of complications and whatnot. So I think that was weighing on my mind, and I was gonna be gone for 3 days in the hospital, leaving my kids here, and that's not really something I've ever done. As a mother, left my kids for days, and this would be the first time that I would be doing that. So those were the kind of things that were going in my mind, and I know everybody that is in that position probably goes through something different on the morning of. Maybe fear or what have you. I don't think I feared the surgery that much. I just, just was concerned. I wanted to make sure that everything, went well. So that was surgery day. We got up. I got up. I finished packing, got ready, took another walk through the house. My son had went to work. I told him to go to work because I'm not going into surgery until 10 o'clock. I won't be out of surgery till probably like 2, out of the recovery room till like 2 o'clock. By then you'll be done work. So, because he leaves at 6 in the morning. So I was like, just go ahead. So it was myself, my boyfriend, and my daughter that, and no, not even my daughter. If I recall, I told her to go to school. So she went to school, because by the time she got out, I'd be out of recovery. So I didn't want everybody sitting around for hours, waiting and waiting and waiting because I recall when I did my knee scopes, both my kids, because it was a further hospital that I went to, and both of my children went with me, and they were sitting there waiting for me through surgery, waiting for me through recovery. And then lo and behold, my recovery took longer. So then they were worried during that time because mom wasn't coming out. What's going on? So I didn't want that this time. So I want everybody to keep their mind occupied during the day instead of worrying about me. So the only person that was there with me throughout the day was my boyfriend. So in the recovery room, it was before I get to the recovery room, I went in, sign in. All that went smoothly, no issues. Prepped for surgery, went through that, got my I honestly don't even know when I went out because I don't even know when I went into to the actual surgery room because this was a little different. In previous surgeries, I would get wheeled into the surgery room, and then I'd see the doctor and do the whole countdown and whatever. My surgeon, and would do the whole countdown. This time I didn't see my surgeon. I saw my surgeon while I was taking my morning tests, which, by the way, my morning test revealed that my potassium was still a bit low. So I was going into surgery knowing that my potassium had not recovered the way that they had wanted it to. So that made me a little nervous as well. But it was a little different because I went into sort of a pre-op type of room, and in there, that's where the anesthesiologist was. And because they're giving you multiple layers of this protocol is like multiple layers of medication because you've got a nerve blocker, you've got a anesthetic, and another medication. So there's like three. The nerve blocker is supposed to last you for like 18 hours or something like that, right? So even when the anesthetic and the other medication wears off, that nerve blocker is supposed to last, because you got to remember, they're literally sawing and chopping and removing parts of like your whole kneecap and then hammering and hence the protocol of the three types of pain medications. So I went into the room for them to do that, and I guess maybe because it is a protocol like that, that's why that was pretty much the last thing I knew. I don't remember seeing my surgeon before, being wheeled into the surgery room. I was out. I was gone. So that was that. I remember waking up in the recovery room. That was an experience. Oh, and I should mention, they do this warming thing before you go into surgery. So while I was waiting in the pre-op room, this is before anesthetic or anything, being wheeled into the anesthesia room, they surround you with warm air. It's like an airbag of some kind, and it's to warm, because the warmth, they can't have your body cold, you have to be warm. So they put it around your knee, put it around your legs, put it around your body to keep you very warm. So while I was laying there, and I have a clip, I'm going to insert a clip of myself while we were in that at that stage of things, while we're waiting, and that's prior to getting wheeled into the pre-op for your anesthesia and your whatnot.
Jag säger dentist na tira give me pain problem for the youngest, so I go to the clinic and time I be there, me jag säger dentist na come and give me and feel good. I'm a reach. I road going on with each other to that. So I am spraying back like to aim my and leave. So that they will see in interest.
Okay, next. Number 4 never leaves. Some more.
Surgery day. So, yeah, so then, went through surgery, went to recovery, and in recovery, I woke up still having that warm. I remember that warm feeling because they still had that air blowing through that warming bag, and that was a good thing because I'm always cold, always, always, always. So I so welcome that. And I remember waking up, didn't feel anything at all. I had no catheter in, um, which kind of concerned me because I was like, okay, I'm able to get it with the washroom, so no catheter. But I stayed through the recovery in the recovery room, and I was there for an excessive amount of time because this hospital, for some reason, could not get a room for me. And I waited and waited to the point where, and I woke up to the same thing. I have to admit, I woke up to the same thing: low blood pressure. So I know that initially I had to stay longer in there because of the low blood pressure. They were trying to bring my blood pressure up. But even after they managed to do that and I was cleared to leave recovery, I stayed there for like another 2 hours. My poor family was out there by the time my son, my daughter were there. Everybody was like wondering, well, what's going on? Why is she not coming out? So the nurse finally said to me, she's like, not to worry. I just went out and I told your family, you're good. You're resting fine. You're not in any pain. I said, thank you. So finally, when I was taken up to my room, yeah, and there were a couple of friends came, and my family's there, my friends are there, and whoa, all pain meds wore off. I was in literal agony. I laid there and I felt like screaming. Um, the nurse came in and did check my vitals and whatever, and I'm like, I'm in a lot of pain. She's like, okay, I'm gonna give you something. Then she came back, she says, okay, your blood pressure is too low, your oxygen levels are low, you need to lay down flat. And laying down flat for some reason even made the pain worse. So I'm laying down flat because they don't want me sitting up because my blood pressure is so low. And now tears start running down my face. I was bawling. I was in so much pain. So finally, whatever they gave me kicked in a bit. And I was trying to recover a bit. I tried to sit up a bit because, by this time I'm hungry. So my son, had gotten some food. No, my friend had brought some food, so my son was actually feeding me. He was sitting beside the bed. I've never seen such worry on my kid's face. He was feeding me. When my boyfriend came over, because I wasn't eating it, and my boyfriend came over and he started feeding me. And then the nurse came in again, checked my vitals, and she's like, no, back on your back, all the way down. Your blood pressure is too low. So this just seems to be the thing that I have with surgeries. It tanks my blood pressure for some reason, and I think it's the medication as well. There's something about the medication that makes my blood pressure go down, because they had to they had to change medication. They gave me one, and that night I swear I thought I was gonna die overnight because I was so sick. So then they said, okay, we're not going to give you that medication anymore. Through in the night, they had to put me on oxygen because, along with the low blood pressure. my oxygen levels tanked. So it's the medication, I believe, that at that point was what was causing my blood pressure to go down, and the anesthetics that they use too can often cause that as well.
First day after surgery, or surgery day, I should say. Not doing well at all. Once the nerve blockers wore off, pain was extreme. Nothing they were giving me was working. Somehow I have low blood pressure. Blood pressure was at 88 during surgery, and even now it is more than 10 hours after surgery. She's now had to put me on oxygen, but my oxygen's low and my blood pressure is still low. Oh, a nurse said she's calling the doctor to see what to do next. Just have to wait and see.
So all in all, not the best experience, but I made it through, and still wouldn't trade the experience for anything at this point. I can honestly say that. That's why I'm glad I'm recording these, like, some time after my surgery, so I have a good perspective, and I can give you my honest opinion and perspective on knee replacement surgery. So I'll see you next time on knee replacement surgery, post surgery, day 1. Bye.